what were the practical barriers you did or did not meet in terms of trying to get your film funded, or in the process of production, or the process of reception, or trying to get it distributed afterwards? What issues came up? Well, how did you get it funded? Was it hard to, and was it easy enough to get it distributed?
Where do I start? I guess I think the issue is that there wasn't an issue. I guess I think that's the biggest problem for my film. I guess the idea of letting it die slowly is a good strategy, which the government and the institution running the media and film, they gradually learn as they go along. And I mean, previously films like that, they will give them a very different. They have never banned a film. This has to be clear, but they have given it a different kind of rating or different kind of screening permission. Yeah, and by the time when my film was when it was selected for Venice, it was, I mean, it created a certain I think a situation for them. So how do you address something that is being shown abroad in an international film festival, and yet you might not want to support or highlight? So that was the dilemma, I guess, for the IMDA, I guess then, or MDA then. And I guess they learn how to manipulate or kind of move around this situation. It's just try not to highlight it too much. I guess that's what's the... it's not a problem for me. I mean, if suddenly I get a call and say, hey, Green, from the Prime Minister, say, congratulations, you won, your film selected for Venice. I think I'll be a bit suspicious about that for myself. And my work might not be, I don't think I get, I hope that people will actually try to think about that. Why are their films being highlighted? And in a way, this is what the film is about, exclusion, inclusion. Why certain films are being highlighted, why certain films are your films, Singapore films. And it's something you should think about. Yeah, that's what I think. Yeah.
Edmund, funding and or issues with distribution?
So it's self-funded, because obviously no one wanted to fund it. Yeah, so I had to borrow money from friends and family. And the film got banned. I'm very proud to say that. Yeah, I got like a ban report. I mean, I didn't really make any noise when it got banned, because like, you know, I'm like, if I make any more noise, yeah, more people will watch my film, but maybe I'll go to jail or something. But yeah, so I wasn't really surprised when I read the ban report. I mean, it was amusing. I really wanted to take a photo of it so that I could put it on Instagram. So they were saying that the film was a dissemination of false information. I'm like, what information? The film is like a fictionalized. Yeah, I didn't use names. I didn't, you know, inciting racial hatred, because like, I mean, a spoiler, but a Malay character got killed by a Chinese character. So it's like inciting racial hatred. So I'm like, huh. Is that the same film? Will it be better if it's a Chinese character who got killed by a Chinese character? You know, will it be less? You know, maybe I won't touch the racial politics if the dead person was a Chinese person. And then, of course, ultimately it's anti-establishment. So there's no redemption. Like you can't cut your film. You can't censor anything. You're doomed, because your film is ultimately about anti-establishment. You have a pillar of community, a teacher like asking the students to, you know, protest against something like through violent means. How could a teacher do that? Like, how could she end up like picking a gun? And, you know, like, so there were a lot of things. It was quite amusing. Like, I mean, I went through it. I was like, wow, is that the same film? You know, but I kind of knew it will happen, because like I had problems trying to get actresses to play the teacher role. I approached a few local Malaysian actresses. They said they don't want to get a ban for life, so I had to get a Taiwanese actress to. yeah. So yeah, it was quite sad. I mean, it's not shown anywhere at all in Malaysia, which is ironic. But it's on Amazon.com, So yeah, so you guys can share it
You
around.
didn't see the screening, there's your chance to catch it. Okay, Anocha?
Yeah, it was actually quite difficult for me to get funding for this film. I think for many reasons, not only thematically, but because of the aesthetics, the approach that I took in making this film. So, but initially, I have to say, in the beginning, it was still not so political and not as complex in terms of the structure and the narrative. And that was when I got the funding from the Ministry of Culture in Thailand. Later on, as the project got more developed, and it became much more complex and more political, but they didn't know. And so even after the world premiere in Locarno, they still hadn't seen the film. I think they only saw it a few months later when I had like a press screening in Bangkok. And by that time, I think it was probably too late for them to really say anything about it. Yeah, so I am.
I mean, have they grudgingly accepted that, gee, it's been winning awards, been getting a lot of attention? Have they been decided to be happy about that the way?
Yeah, actually, they're very happy about it. It's very ironic that they decided to embrace it. And yeah, then they have been showing it in some festivals through the embassy in the Thai embassy in different countries. It's very bizarre.
This is what happened with Apachatpong as well. That he was public enemy #1, and then wow, he's running the awards. He's a person.
But in terms of getting funding, it was not, like I said, it was not easy at all. So in the beginning, I got the funding from Ministry of Culture and some funding from Cinemat, a co-production platform in Rotterdam. I went there to pitch. At the time, it was still pitchable, I think. And I won a grant from them, and I kept developing the project. It took me 3 years to write the script, and then it was getting more and more difficult to get funding. So once I decided that, okay, I had by this time exhausted all the funding options, then I should probably just start shooting, which was not ideal at all because I didn't have all the financing in place. But I realized that maybe this would be the only way that I could finish the film, by shooting some part of it and having the footage to convince people that this film is, would be finished, and they would know they would see that at least I was probably capable of making a film, something like that. So I had the footage, and then actually it did work. Then I had another producer who came on board, and then she managed to get me quite a bit of, local sponsorship deals, and it's kind of unheard of for independent films in Thailand, to have corporate sponsorship. But they didn't have any say in the film at all. So I was telling them that I had a big, the main sponsor for the film is a drink company and their product was not even featured in the film. And they were fine with that. But I think it was largely to do with this producer who, had very good relationship with them. Yeah, so but yeah, so when the film was finished, and then distribution was also not easy in Thailand, with independent films, and basically I self-released the film, not nationwide. So we screened in 4 cinemas in Bangkok, 1 in Chiang Mai, 1 in Khon Kaen, and then several alternative screening spaces like bookshops and cafes, and I would just go and talk with the audience, and but it did moderately well in terms of the box office. It wasn't a disaster, but for a limited release film, I think it did okay. Yeah, but it has been shown in many different countries and had theatrical release in the UK, limited release also, and the US And I think because of that, then people got more interested in Thailand. That's the way it is. It's kind of, I resent it a little bit in a way that why does it have to be approved from, like people outside Thailand for Thai people to, pay attention. But that's the reality.
But for an experimental political art film, that sounds like a big success story in point of fact.
Yeah, to everyone's surprise, I must say. Yeah, seriously, no one really thought that the film could win anything in Thailand, Yeah.
And Anggi, you also have a bit of a success story.
I can say yes, it's quite success because, okay, I will start with the how we made the films. The funding is actually from friends, our friends, and also VG to close friends that they was in the same organization back in 20-30 years ago. So now some of them is more success as a businessman or as a politician or maybe still in activism as an activist. And they help us to make this film with give money or give access or even give us support like a moral support to bring us to the next level to make this film be released in the commercial cinema. Then regarding the government, what I see after I make this film is because I think there is some good people in government that they know the quality, they know what good for the film or culture or for the education, for the lesson learns. So they support us with the access. When the film was premiere in Locarno in the same year with Anocha's film, we got quite a lot support from the government. Yeah, there is maybe 2 or 3 tickets for us, but we decided to bring one journalist from Indonesia because it's a part of our strategy to make a news about this film in the local news in Indonesia. So we bring one journalist instead of bring the actor. So he keep make a news about what happened in Locarno. Even somehow it's a very light news, like because I stay in one room with the journalist, and I was cold like 2 hours before the screening. I don't know, maybe I'm too nervous or something. I'm getting ill. And then he asked me, what happened? I think I'm getting ill. And 2 days after, there is a news about Yosep Anggi Noen getting ill before the screening. Which is, it's good. It's put the films, it's less political. It's more like, could be more, I don't know.
Identity.
Yeah. So and start from August, we always get in touch with the press. Every time we have a news for the film, like in August we showing in the Locarno, and then the next month we have a screening in other place, and we make a press release. And in September and October we got like a screening in Busan, and we keep in touch with the media to make this film this film people know this film in Indonesia, and we start to make a plan to showing this film in the end of January. Luckily, in the beginning of the January, there is a wrap up of the best film, best actor, best something from the reputable magazine. It's called Tempo. It's like an Indonesian Time magazine. And we got like 16 pages of the magazine that read about my director's visions, the actor, we got the best actor, and the film, the best film. So we have like 16 pages, and it's, if we pay for the ad for 16 pages, I can make like 20 film. So we are lucky. It's the magazine published 1 week before the premiere in Indonesia, and the premiere is Indonesia. It's the same. It's quite the same day with I think it's quite the same day with the screening in Rotterdam. So we have like on everyday news about these films. That's why people come to the cinema. We got 53,000 ticket admissions for like maybe 3 weeks in cinema Indonesia. First, we have a 16 screen in some city, and then in the second or the third day we got 26 screens, and then in the weekend we got 36 screen for this film. So it's become a quite big hype, and of course we are surprised because it's good number for slow film, right? So we are happy, and most of the people who come to the cinema is a young people, which is we happy that our first aim is realized. We got it. But also we see that some of them is actually young people who bring father to the cinema, or with the mother, with the parents, and they start talking about the history.